Now, when you get a text from your ex, it can feel like the world stops. Why are they texting you? What do they want? What does it mean? Now, the feeling you get when you see someone from your past name pop up on your phone can be nauseating, exciting, scary, or perhaps all three at the exact same time. Depending on your feelings towards your ex, your hopes or intentions, how you respond to your ex message should vary. Feelings aside though, there are some rules to follow when it comes to texting them back. Hi, I'm Dave, and this is the Breakup Corner. I'm here to help you get over your breakup, or help you get your ex back. It's up to you. I pride myself on offering easy to follow advice that you can actually use. So whether this is a hypothetical situation or something that's happening to you right now, I'm here to help. To be notified anytime I release something new, be sure to subscribe to my channel and then click the little bell below this video. But now, moving on. Before I get into the specifics about how you should be replying to your ex, we need to figure out why they're reaching out. So this is going to really change the conversation, so it's worth thinking about. Let's first talk a bit about the possible reasons that they're texting you. Now, the most common of these reasons is that they simply miss you. Though they might not come right out and say so, if you haven't been communicating with your ex, then there's a good chance that they're missing you. I mean, you were part of their life at one point, so it makes sense why they would maybe feeling a bit nostalgic towards you and your relationship. They'll start to miss you after they've had the taste of life without you. And since meeting new people and making new connections can be tough, there's a good chance they're reaching out because they have been thinking about you and missing you. If they've already established that they miss you, then they may be reaching out to you to try to get you back. Now, if enough time has passed since the breakup for them to reflect on your relationship, they may be realizing what they're missing out on and want to win you back. Now, that being said, the words they text you may be written to pull at your heartstrings, but don't take these words to mean exactly what they say. For instance, even if they say, "I want you back," then there's a good chance that they're feeling some mixed emotions right now, and that this may not actually be 100% true. So please don't jump back in with both feet and run to be their side. Trust me, take it slow. But since most people fear rejection, the likelihood of them texting you those exact words are probably pretty low. Instead, they would probably send you a message to test the waters, and then depending on how you reply, they'll make their decision on where to go from there. The next reason your ex may be texting you is because they want to be friends. In this case, their message will probably be pretty lighthearted and friendly. They may choose to share some interesting news with you or ask what you've been up to. Now, this message can be tricky because it could be a well-disguised "I miss you" message, but if they're throwing out the friend vibe, then you'll be able to tell as the conversation continues. Now, I will stop here and tell you that being friends with your ex is almost never something that's going to go the way that you want it. This is especially true if you want them back. In that case, do not agree to be friends with your ex. All you're going to do is make it easier for them to get over you. At the same time, you'll drive yourself crazy, wondering if they feel something more for you than they're letting on. Your feelings will get stronger, while theirs might fade away as time passes. So if you want to know why this happens, check out my video on the topic because I go into more detail than I have time for here. It's linked in the description below. And even if you're totally over your ex, you should still be careful about being friends with them. There are many different factors that you should consider here. So, were you friends before you dated? Are your feelings for them really gone? Or are you maybe just kidding yourself? Are their feelings for you gone? Or are they just using this as an opportunity to get close to you? And what if it all goes perfectly and they end up being your good friend again? What happens when one of you starts dating someone new and they're not as chill about you being besties with your ex? Are you gonna drop your new friend for this other person? Is your ex gonna now leave you high and dry to placate their new partner? It's really just a recipe for drama. So this is not to say that you shouldn't be friends with your ex if you're both truly over the other person. But please just think carefully before you get too close or risk these unforeseen consequences. Next, maybe your ex is messaging you because they want to make you feel bad or even hurt you. Now, this is simply a terrible thing to do. But if your ex is feeling miserable about the breakup or has any built-up resentment towards you, they might just feel compelled to text you their thoughts. The important thing here is to remember that whatever nasty things they are sending you, they're doing it out of hurt. So I know it's tough, but it's important not to take these messages to heart or reply in anger. Instead, know that they probably don't really mean what they're saying, but for some weird, twisted reasons, making you feel bad just makes them feel better. Or at least getting their feelings off their chest does. But if your ex is sorry about how the relationship ended, or for something that happened while the two of you were together, then this may be another reason they're reaching out to you through text. Now, these messages are often pretty easy to spot, as they'll likely just admit to their wrongdoings and hopefully wish you well. Now, they could be doing this because they genuinely feel bad for hurting you, or they may be doing it for their own feelings of closure. Now, after this conversation, there's a good chance that you won't hear from them again. Now, don't get angry if you reply to this message and hear nothing back. If they've said all they want to say, then you leave them be. And the last reason I want to talk about when it comes to your ex texting you is if they're looking for a booty call. Now, this could be hard to spot at first because they might just sugarcoat their messages before implying that they want to hook up. But a huge indicator as to if they are booty calling you is the timing of their message. If they text you in the middle of the night or after getting home from a bar, they could just be messaging you out of sexual desire. But if you want to rekindle your relationship with your ex, you don't want to go down this path. Like being friends, this sets up a different kind of relationship than the one you probably want. And because you're giving your ex exactly what they want, they'll have no incentive to take you more seriously. Now, this is especially true if your ex is a man. Sorry, guys. But if you're completely over them and just looking for a little fun, this can be okay. Just think through the possible consequences before you go for it. Okay, so now that we've talked about some of the major reasons behind why your ex would be texting you, let's now talk about what you should do about it. To keep this process as simple as possible, let's break this situation into 3 scenarios. The first, you want to get back together with your ex. The second, you're uncertain about whether or not you want your ex back. And the third, there's no way in hell you would ever get back together with them. So please try to keep your own personal situation in mind as we move forward. All right, first things first. Your ex has just messaged you. How long should you wait before texting them back? Now, regardless of your feelings, you should make a point of holding off before texting them. This is important for a couple different reasons. Firstly, it will give you some time to think about what you want to say. If they've angered or upset you in the past, then your feelings might be running high right now, especially if you didn't expect to hear from them or haven't in quite some time. The last thing you want to do is blast off a text that's full of resentment or sadness. Even if you have no intention of ever patching things up and getting back together, please take the high road. Stay classy, everybody. Since they know that there's a chance you could react badly, by not doing so, you'll surprise them, and they may even realize what a good thing they've lost. More on this soon though, but for now, just remember that taking the time to think about the message you'll be sending your ex is extremely important. The second thing that not responding right away does is that it shows them that you're not sitting around, phone in hand, waiting to hear from them. Now, if you are, or you just so happen to be on your phone for another reason, please just let some time pass before responding, and this will send the message that you're busy with other things. Now, this will likely just spike their curiosity, leaving them to wonder, what is exactly occupying your time? It will also create something that is extremely important in this process: anticipation. I'd say that you need to wait at least half an hour to an hour. Now, if this isn't someone you're interested in talking to at all, then you can wait a longer amount of time. 6 hours, a day, 2 days, or you can even just not respond to them at all. Truthfully, when your relationship ended, your ex lost the right to expect you to stay in touch with them outside of an important situation. I know that phones make us feel like we're accessible to every person on earth, but it actually doesn't have to be that way. Now, when and if you do reply to them, the message you send is very important. Since this isn't a friend or family member who you can casually just blast a text off to, you'll want to make sure that the message you send has the right tone. Now, you may be thinking, Dave, it's a text. How the heck am I supposed to make it sound a certain way? Well, here's the thing. When it comes down to it, texts are just words on a screen, left to be interpreted by the person on the receiving end. That's why it's fair to say that texting is almost less about the words themselves and more about the feelings you get after reading them. So before replying to your ex's text, it's important that you're very certain of the type of message you want to convey. Do you want them to know that you're open to chatting? Or would you rather make it clear that that ship has sailed? Are you hoping to reignite a spark between the two of you? Or are you fighting the temptation to tell them what a jerk they are? Knowing your end game and intentions will help when it comes to choosing the right words and communicating the right message. It seems obvious, but I think it's so easy to let excitement just get the best of us and respond without actually thinking. Now, regardless of your intention though, keeping your texts short and sweet can help prevent any sort of confusion. Why? Because the less you write, the less chance there is that they will misinterpret what you're saying. For example, let's say that your ex texts you a short, "Hey, how have you been?" Instead of rambling about how you've been since the breakup, diving into all the emotions you've felt and the things you've done, just keep the message simple. A short, "I'm good, thanks. How have you been?" will do the trick if you're cool with opening up communication lines between the two of you again. Or even, "I'm great. I'm just in the middle of something right now and I can't really chat, but I hope you're well." Works well too. In fact, this second example works wonders for getting them thinking about what it is you're in the middle of, or even who you're in the middle of. Again, if you want to get back together with your ex, or aren't completely against the idea of perhaps rekindling your relationship or just being friends, this is a very powerful message to send. And again, if you have absolutely no desire to talk to them when they message you, then you may choose to just ignore this text message. As long as it doesn't ask anything important and isn't relaying valuable information, you're allowed to let it slide. If, however, your ex texts you asking something important or passes along some useful news, then do take time to respond, either with the answer that they need or a short, "Thanks for letting me know." You don't have to dive right back into communicating with them, but it's okay to show some respect and appreciation if you're willing to. Also, always be sure to read your text message at least 3 times before hitting that send button. And better yet, read it out loud. Not only will it avoid making you look absent-minded or unintelligent, but it'll also prevent you from needing to follow up your text with a corrected version or explanation. Sure, it's not the end of the world to have to do so, but it does take away from the original message. Since this is an ex you're messaging, you want to make sure that you come across as intelligent, well-spoken, regardless of whether or not you want to win them back. Now that we've covered the basics when it comes to replying to this initial post-breakup text message, let's talk a little bit about what you should be texting your ex if you do choose to keep the conversation going. In this case, it's likely that you do want to get back together. But let's face it, you're not going to waste your time messaging someone you have zero interest in having in your life. And especially if this is someone you hate and only want to engage with to make fun of them or try to hurt them, then you should just end the conversation right away. It may make you feel good for a brief moment, but in the end, it's only going to make you feel worse. So please be the bigger person. If, though, you absolutely feel the need to send them a message after they've reached out, then you can choose to let them know that you wish them well, but don't see a reason to keep in contact. Simple as that. Don't feel obligated to keep answering their messages from here on out. Now, for when you are wanting to get back together, or at least open to the possibility, there are certain things you're going to want to keep in mind when replying to their text messages. As I briefly mentioned earlier in this video, you're going to want to send them a positive message. Now, even if you've been devastated since the breakup and feel like life as you know it has ended, you can't convey that in this text message. If you do, you're just going to look desperate or want them back or just pathetic, or maybe all of those things. Now, this is not the type of message that will make them want to be with you again. So remember, they could be on the fence too, and a downer message like this is sure to help them get over the breakup for good. Now, what will make them want to be with you is a message expressing how cheerful you are and how busy you've been. Sending this type of message that shows them that you're out carrying on after the relationship ended, it will let them know that you're a strong, independent person who doesn't need a partner to complete them. And that is an extremely attractive trait. Now, once the texting conversation begins to flow, you'll still want to take things slow. This will give you both the opportunity to do some thinking and decide if you want to give your relationship another try. And it's also good for reigniting the spark between you. Now, when you message them, send the type of text that you would in the early days of getting to know someone. Yes, you already know this person and you've already shared a relationship, but if you were to go back right to where you were before the breakup, then you just risk the relationship falling apart again. I mean, it didn't work in the past, so why would it go back there? Instead, consider sending them tester texts. These messages don't ask for a reply. They're just testing the water. And because they're not actually direct questions, if they respond, you'll know that they're into getting back together, or at least keeping the conversation going and getting closer to you, which is what you want. Now, what these messages do is pass along information that you know they will find interesting or useful. For instance, you could message them something like this. Hey, I just saw that there's a huge sale this weekend on N64 games. I know how much you love Banjo-Kazooie, so I thought I'd let you know. Or, I just heard Michael Mann died, sad face. He was such a great director. Just make sure that the information is true, or you'll seem a bit strange to your ex when they find out that Michael Mann is actually alive and well. Now, neither of these messages are overly romantic, but believe me, both of them are super powerful for testing the waters to see if they're open to talking more. Now, don't ask too much right off the bat. Remember, you're just starting to reconnect. If you make them feel smothered the second they reach out to you, then that might make them feel like getting back together was a mistake and that it's better to move on. Be wise with your words and keep them looking forward to hearing from you. Now that we've come to the end of this video, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've learned here, then please spread the word and share my channel with your friends. Also, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other breakup advice videos. Lastly, if you have any questions for me or would just like to share your comments, feel free to post them in the description below and I'll personally get back to you as soon as I can. Until next time, take care and good luck.